Ready?
I'm ready.
Akron City Council meeting will come to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Key, Kilby, Milkovich, Mosley Samples, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Just out of habit.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, would you please stand as we are led in prayer by Randy Baker from the Akron Bible Church. Immediately following our prayer, we'll be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Hoke.
Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for this day. We honor you here as we start this meeting. And Lord, we thank you, God, for our city. We thank you for everyone here in this room today. And Lord, their positions, Lord, those, their families, our law enforcement, Lord, for their safety and their families as well. Strengthened, encouraged, uplifted, Lord. We just pray for those things that are going to be talked about today. Father, we're overcomers, and I pray a strong unity. We ask for godly wisdom. We pray, Lord, that the welfare of our city and the people of our great city, we thank you, Lord, right here tonight. We just surrender ourselves to you and again, ask for wisdom. And we humbly ask and thank you for your Son. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Clerk will read the minutes from the previously held meeting.
Minutes from February 5th, 2018. Council convened a regular session at 7 p.m. with President Somerville in the chair. All members were present except Freeman, later excused. Minutes of the previous regular meeting were read and approved. Reading of petitions and communications. Passage of the consent agenda. Report of standing and special committees. Passage and referral of new ordinances and resolutions. Representation from various departments and divisions, public speaking period. No further business. On a motion by Fusco, council adjourned at 7:56 p.m. to reconvene in regular session on February 12, 2018, or special call.
Any corrections or additions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Letters, petitions, and communications.
Petition of Matthew Hornbrook to construct an oversized garage at 280 Hampshire Road.
File.
114 citywide city sidewalk program petitions.
File.
Certified copy of a resolution 2017-542 from the Summit County Clerk of Council Jennifer Novak, I don't know.
File.
Notice of a transfer D5, D6 liquor permit to Crystal Cuisine LLC, doing business as Hush Gentlemen's Club at 1027 East Waterloo Road.
Special attention, Councilwoman Samples.
Correspondence from Attorney Ed Gilbert, reference the Akron Police Department employment.
File. We have before us the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Roll call on the consent agenda. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Key, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
We'll now move into our old business rules. Councilman Keith.
Time.
Okay, time will be granted. We have 3 public hearings on tonight. If there's anyone here in the audience that is going to be speaking at any of our public hearings, we're going to ask that you please stand at this time so that you can be sworn in by our law department. This is not to be confused by the public comment period, so if you are here to speak on 539 White Pond Drive, 885 Mull Avenue, or if you're here to talk about installing the 2 brine wells west of Manchester Road, stand at this time so that you can be sworn in by our law department. Thank you so much.
Okay, if you would, raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If you do, say I do. Thank you.
Okay. First public hearing, legal notice. Notice hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, February 12th, 2018, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. in council chambers, 166 South High Street, upon an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an office facility at 539 White Pond Drive.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. DRK Partners LLC, they're requesting to construct a new 7,500 square foot office building and parking on this property. Single-story office building would contain 7,500 square feet. The prospective owner of the property is medical practice, Akron Oral Maxillofacial Surgery. The building would have a modern appearance with exterior materials consisting of steel, glass, and wood. The street entry will align with the existing traffic signal and entry to White Pond Crossing, which is directly across the street. Landscaping will be planted throughout the site, and dense landscaping and solid fencing would screen the property from neighboring properties to the north. This area of White Pond is an area that has transitioned from residential to retail offices over the years. The petitioner states the building will allow the retention of 35 jobs within the city. This proposal offers the opportunity to create new office space within a state-of-the-art building for a relatively low traffic generating use without being out of character with the neighborhood. Both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions.
Is there anyone here in the audience that is here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Very good. We're going to ask that you approach the podium, and if you can give us your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Fred Zampano. I live at 2772 Jumpers Drive in the city of Akron, and I'm here to answer any questions. I'm the developer and builder of this project, and just here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor?
My name is David Kimberly. I live at 970 Peely Drive. I am the owner of DRK Partners, the president. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak against? Is there anyone here to speak against? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilman Fusco?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Mobian, Kamer, Neal, Swirsky.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is a conditional use request for an office facility which is from the neighborhood and going to stay in the neighborhood, stay in the city of Akron. There's been 15, I believe, conditions requested on this conditional use request, and Planning Department, Commission, Ward Council person, everyone is in favor of this development. It fits in quite nicely with regards to the surrounding community, and we request passage this evening.
Very good. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call, Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Key, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sim, Somerville, Swirsky. Okay, the second public hearing. Notice hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, February 12th, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. in council chambers, 166 South High Street, upon ordinance authorizing conditional use to construct the Center for Advanced Energy Technology building at 885 Mull Avenue.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. First Energy is proposing to construct a transmission lab to be known as the Center for Advanced Energy Technology, or CAET. The new building would be located at the southwest corner of the First Energy campus, approximately 55 feet north of Mull Avenue. The single-story building would occupy approximately 88,000 square feet of area and reach a maximum height of 27 feet. Exterior materials would be a combination of precast concrete, insulated wall system, and a brick veneer. The main access to the facility would be through an existing drive with staff and visitor parking for 73 vehicles on the west side of the building. Supplemental landscaping and existing large evergreen trees along Mull Avenue would provide additional screening to the site. The drive is already signalized to control traffic flow on Mull Avenue. The proposed $37 million building will be dedicated to evaluating, testing, and training staff on new digital grid technologies that enhance the company's ability to serve customers. Approximately 20 to 25 First Energy employees would be assigned to staff the facility, which would provide classroom space for 50 people. Operations would occur during normal business hours, Monday through Friday. Because this frontage along Mull Avenue is now being developed, sidewalks should be installed to connect the existing sidewalks to the east and the west, and the Mull Avenue street surface should be improved. The center represents an opportunity for the company to showcase both the campus and the community to visitors coming for training, while also allowing the company to remain on the leading edge of its industry. Both Planning Commission and planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions.
Is there anyone here in the audience that is here to speak in favor? We're going to ask that you approach the podium, give your name and your address.
My name is Kirk Gardner. I work for First Energy. Address is 1910 West Market Street, Akron, and I'm just here to answer any questions that you might have tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Robert Habel. A principal at Braun and Steidel Architects for the project. If you have any specific questions with regard to the project, I can answer them. Our address is 1041 West Market Street in Akron.
Very good. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak against? Is there anyone here to speak against? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilman Fusco?
Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you, President Somerville. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Amobian? Kamer? Neal? Swirsky?
Any objections? Seeing and hearing no objections, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. This is over 2 acres under roof that's going to be constructed on the First Energy campus. This is going to be known as the Center for Advanced Energy Technology, from what I understand. 25 permanent employees. It can accommodate up to 50 people who can be trained and who can be tested, so on and so forth, in terms of this technology that's within our city of Akron. There's 15 different conditions on this conditional use request, again. And again, the surrounding uses are very similar in terms of this particular use that's proposed here. So with that, we recommend approval this evening.
Okay. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call, Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Public hearing number 3, legal notice. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, February 12th, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. in council chambers, 166 South High Street, upon an ordinance authorizing conditional use to install 2 brine wells west of Manchester Road and south of the Tuscarawas River.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Cargill, Inc. is a lessee of 119 acres of the city-owned land. In 1968, the City of Akron approved the lease of city-owned land for the drilling of brine wells. The petitioner is requesting permission to drill 2 additional brine wells at this site. Presently, 26 wells have been drilled on the property, of which 13 are currently active. Petitioner states replacement wells must be drilled in order to maintain brine purity and saturation, as well as providing a continuous source of feedstock for their salt production plant. The area immediately surrounding both well sites is vacant wooded land. Existing gravel access roads would be utilized to reach the wells. Each proposed site would contain a vinyl-sided shed enclosed with chain link fencing. The drilling of 2 additional brine wells in this remote area will not have an adverse effect on the surrounding area. Both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval, subject to all conditions.
Is there anyone here that is here to speak in favor?
My name is Greg Jacknowitz. I'm the plant manager of the Cargill Akron facility. My current residence is 565 Apple Valley Circle in Delaware, Ohio. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Ewell Langenfeld, I'm Senior Project Manager at Cargill. I reside at 1665 Smoke Rise Drive, Akron, Ohio.
Carl Carlson, Lead Engineer under Ewell. I reside at 34597 Northwood Drive, Chesterfield, Michigan. Just here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone here in the audience to speak against? Anyone here to speak against? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Amobian? Kamer? Neal? Swirsky?
Aye.
Yes, I'd like to yield comments to the ward council person, Mr. Freeman.
Thank you. I just appreciate, I wasn't in the meeting today, but I know there were some questions that come up. Just having grown up in the community, Cargill has been the best corporate partner we've had in the entire 9th Ward. This is in proximity to other wells that have been drilled. When the first well that was drilled close to the towpath, I did have concerns because from the aesthetics, everything worked out fine there. I do want to honor, though, the wishes of all the other council members that had questions. We will make sure that any of those questions that were unanswered will be answered this week, and just appreciate your concern for the towpath, for the ward, and just for the betterment of the city of Akron. But I just would stand to say that partnership between the city and Cargill, Mr. Antonucci had said 1968, grew up probably 200 feet from an old derrick, and they've done a good job anytime that they've abandoned a well of reclaiming property and whatnot. But thank you so much, and hope we can revisit this again next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Freeman. So this item will be referred. Councilman Fusco, rest of your agenda?
We'd like to request time on 4, 5, and 6.
Time will be granted on 4, 5, and 6.
The request of committees to file 7 and 8. Those are the petitions for the conditional uses that we just voted on.
7 and 8. Did you say?
File.
File.
And then time on the balance.
And time will be granted. We'll now move into new legislation.
One second. Okay. Item 0, offered by Mayor Horrigan, ordinance amending or supplementing Title IX General Provisions, Chapter 104, Income Tax Ordinance, in order to reflect changes improperly mandated by Ohio House Bill 49, or House Bill 49, reserving the right to continue litigating an ongoing challenge to House Bill 49, recognizing several provisions may be invalidated or stayed as a result of that challenge and declaring an emergency.
Okay, Councilman Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee requests time on this item, please. And also, if I might ask, if you have any questions, we certainly did get an earful at the committee meetings, how this particular bill, if not ratified in a way that we would hope it would be, is going to cause this city to financially take another very hard hit. So there is a stay right now. We just need to continue to look at the piece and ask our questions and be ready just in case we need to go forward with anything. So with that, the committee does request time. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Time will be granted.
Okay, item number 1, offered by Fusco, approving the 2018 Akron Neighborhood Maintenance and Empowerment Program, authorizing the Director of Neighborhood Assistance to enter into a contract after publicly advertising for bids for proposals for services related to the mowing of publicly owned lots, workforce and skills training and career assistance, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. I request the committees for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Any opposed? So seeing or hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is the neighborhood assistance working with the planning department in terms of developing a strategy for publicly owned lands, primarily those that are held by our planning department that the city acquires over time. And this here would be a method whereas we would request for proposals for primarily like nonprofits and other entities out there to mow these properties. Included with this is community development block grant funding in the name of workforce development that could possibly assist and help with regards to career assistance and training and et cetera. So with that, we recommend approval this evening.
The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Neal, you wanted yours on his name on this one as well, right? Okay. Okay, roll call. Freeman, Fusso, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Okay. Item number 2, offered by Keith, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to enter into an agreement and or legislation with the Ohio Director of Transportation for the construction of the Canton Road resurfacing project for certain improvements from the Southern Municipal Corporation limits to Wedgewood Drive, authorizing the appropriation and or expenditure of funds and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has a favorable report, and we are requesting suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Okay, I thank you. This is a second phase to what has already been started, and so this is just a continuation on the project, which should be granted so that we can complete it.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 3, ordinance, offered by Keith, authorizing the Director of Public Service through the Office of the Purchasing Agent to enter into a contract without the formality of advertising for bids with MTech for the purchase of Granite Net inspection software and associated services and declare an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee requests this item to be placed on the consent agenda.
Thank you. This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, item number 4, offered by Kamer, Sims, and Key. Ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract for the purchase of 5 washer extractors for the use in the Akron fire stations and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, Madam President. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules, please.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
All right, this will continue the efforts of the Akron Fire Department to move closer to having extractors in every fire station.
Very good. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call: Freeman, Busco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 5, offered by Kamer, Keith, and Sims. Ordinance authorizing the mayor through the office of the purchasing agent to enter into a contract after accepting informal sealed bids for the purchase of uniform materials for the fire division, approving specifications therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, Madam President. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. This is to continue the effort to maintain proper uniforms for our firefighters.
The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call: Freeman, Busco, Hope, Kamer, Key, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 6, offered by Councilperson Sims, Somerville, Mosley, Samples, and Amobian. Resolution expressing support for the enactment of the Ohio Revised Code Section 5.2516, which designates the month of February as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in the state of Ohio and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, Madam President. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. I don't have much to say about this, but I don't know if one of the co-sponsors do.
Are there any sponsors who would like to speak on this piece? Councilwoman Sims?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Really appreciate the foresight of those in Columbus who worked really hard to bring this issue to the forefront and give it a face, so much so that they would name a month, Teen Dating Violence Awareness. Several months ago, my colleagues and I were involved in a conference that was held in the city to really talk to women about the importance of understanding that love doesn't hurt. In this country, even in our legislation, 1.5 million high school students nationwide experience physical or emotional abuse at the hands of a dating partner. I don't want to give the illusion that we're just merely talking about women, but there are many men who experience partner or dating violence among the teen, in the teen age bracket. But more disconcerting in recent years is the upsurge in younger people experiencing dating violence at the ages beginning at 11 years old. Really wanting to understand and educating that violence is not simply about placing hands on someone. It's about any controlling behaviors. It could be verbiage and how we speak or how we control one another by things that we say. You know, I thought most alarming and even more important why there was a need for a Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, to bring awareness even to parents, because what we find is about less than 35% of young people who are experiencing dating violence, they don't share that with their parents. And so to encourage parents and loved ones or just people who support our young people to be talking to our young people about the importance of understanding that they are valuable and that love does not come in the forms of placing hands on or an abusive language. Here's my disclaimer. I just want to say thank you to my male counterparts who stood during committee, who stood in support. It was not an intent to exclude, but to highlight some of the work that had already gone forth by some of the members of this council. So I thank you for your support. I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sims. Are there any other sponsors who would like to speak on this piece? Councilwoman Samples?
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of Representative Amelia Sykes' teen dating bill, violence bill, which was passed with bipartisan support. And I think that's important for people to know that she was able to reach across the aisle and gain that support. And I not only rise in support for myself, but I rise in support of this initiative by Representative Sykes on behalf of my daughters and on behalf of my granddaughters, in the hopes that they never feel like there's not an outlet for them to go and talk to someone. I think that's very important, that not only does this bill raise awareness, it sheds light on the issues that teen girls and boys are facing and that they do not talk about. So kudos to Representative Sykes for being able to reach across the aisle, and we should be very proud of her for being able to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Amobian?
I certainly echo the things that have been said. When I look at this legislation and I see that 1.5 million young people are involved in this kind of behavior, it brings to light these cyber incidents that we've read about, where you have young people influencing a mate from afar through that kind of medium. And it also, the timing of this is also good in the sense that we see what's happening with adult women who were abused many years ago, but is now coming to light. But if we can catch young people at a younger age and help them learn appropriate behaviors in dating and in relationships, we can prevent some of those things from happening. So I think the awareness piece is great to help parents understand that their children can be either physically, emotionally, or this cyber relationship that they have with others can be damaged. And anytime we can help parents understand these things, they can then prepare themselves to take action. And action could be utilizing all these resources that we have in Summit County, because we have a lot of resources where parents and young people can go for help. So I hope that what we can do is highlight that on our website somewhere, all of these resources like Akron Child Guidance, Greenleaf Family, and Family Leave Family Counseling Service. I mean, there are a number of resources that we can highlight, and certainly they can learn more about this and then help the families that come to them. So I thank Representative Sykes certainly for her leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Amobian. Are there any additional comments? Councilman Neal?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to stand to reiterate some of the things that were said this afternoon. I thank our members of council that brought this before us, but I think this is a resolution that we as council can act on in the community. We had talked about the opportunity that's coming about with the spring court and prom season coming up, and the pressures that are sometimes put on young men and young women because of the stereotypes of some things that are supposed to take place during prom. And this will give us a chance to engage the leaders in our high schools, the student councils, the senior class presidents, and work with services that are in the community to, as a community, display what's the proper way for healthy engagement among young people. So I look forward to us actually acting on this. And again, thank you to Representative Sykes and to our women colleagues on council that brought this before us. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. Any other comments? If not, the rules have already been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call. Freeman, Busco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
We will now go to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. If you wish to speak to this council during this time, you may approach the podium. We're going to ask that you please sign in, and we're going to ask that you state your full name and that you spell your last name and give us your address. You have 3 minutes to speak to this body. Speakers are reminded that this is an official meeting. Remarks should be kept respectful and germane to council business. Speakers should refrain from making any personal attacks. Anyone who breaches decorum will be ruled out of order and may be removed from council chambers.
Hi, my name is Steve Nome, N-O-M-E, address 1928 6th Street, Cuyahoga Falls, retiree from the Akron Health Department. I've been here before. And some of what I'm going to say you've heard before. There are 8 people in the audience here who are of the same mind as me that are concerned about the spousal health coverage. The city of Akron offered health insurance coverage, and it's very good. I can't tell you, it's very good coverage, and it was available at no cost until 2017. But for 2018, the OPERS requirement was added. So city insurance is only affordable to retirees, retirees married to retirees from the government, but it's not affordable to spouses of the retirees. It's cost prohibitive for spouses under the age of 65. Now, OPERS began charging for retirees in 2016. And it was around $30 a month or so. Now it's $215 a month, so it's gone up about 7 times. But in 2017, spouses paid $30 a month without the OPERS requirement through the city coverage. But to be covered by the city in 2018, it cost nearly 40 times as much, nearly $1,200 a month. So you pay that large amount, or you obtain insurance elsewhere. If you get insurance elsewhere, you're basically self-insured. You're going to pay hundreds of dollars a month, and then there's a high deductible. The one I looked at was $7,350 a month deductible, in addition to paying nearly $4,000 a year. So once I pass $11,000, then I can get some coverage. Now, we made council aware of the problem in the fall of 2016, and it was my understanding they were going to review this before implementing it in 2018, but that did not happen. And I've talked to the city, or communicated with the city, and I said, well, how much do you save by not covering spouses? Well, we don't know. How much did it cost you to cover the spouses? We don't know. That's a vital number that would make sense of this whole thing. So the lack of action on council side and administrative, the administration's reluctance to discuss or consider affordable alternatives led to another retiree filing a lawsuit. I know you can't talk about the lawsuit, but my understanding, a continuance was granted to the city to February 23rd. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I'm hoping that they aren't going to use a lot of legal this and that's to spread out this problem. It needs to be dealt with in the court and get it over with. And because it may not be urgent to some, but to the people who are paying $1,200 a month, the people who are paying hundreds of dollars a month. This is very urgent. This is, as I've said before, when you guys say this is an emergency on your thing, this is an emergency.
Steve, your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. No. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Charlie Nelson. Good evening, everyone. I just came to basically...
Ms. Nelson, would you give us your address, please?
I'm so sorry. Nelson, N-E-L-S-O-N, 382 Douglas Street. I'm in Ward 3, which our president is, that's her ward. By the way, my mom says congratulations. My mom, it comes from the South, Alabama, and at that time, she couldn't go to school with white folks, okay? So she said, I'm very proud of that young lady for what she's doing and where she's rising. So I just wanted to say that publicly, that we are very proud of her in her ward as well. Then also I wanted to say is tonight I had a meeting with AEA, and it talked about safety, and it talked about teacher and student safety in schools. And I would like for Akron City Council to take part in that as well. And I want to thank Councilwoman Sykes for coming to that, because this is a real issue and we need your support. Because I give you my support when you're running, so I need your support too. Our schools need you. Then I wanted to tell you, we got a real problem. I know you've heard about it. Cedar Street and Exchange Street. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody who came up with this smart idea to put that concrete over the edge where you're gonna cause somebody to lose their life. Are you serious? I've already seen some of the things that happen. And the snow, when it comes up there, you hit your tires, everything. If you come down Cedar Street and you want to turn, get over to this lane, here's 57 West, and you want to get over, you can't because of this. And then you try to get over, there's cars coming down, so you hit that. Some child is going to die from that, because you should not have that. You need to go get a machine, cut that, put you up some meters, and make some money up there, just like you do other places, without putting that concrete out. This is a dangerous situation. I know other people have said something to you. If they haven't, please do something about this. Cedar Street and Exchange. Now, I want bumpers, because I live on right there near. I want some type of stuff to slow the traffic down, but I know you're not going to slow it down, because the ambulance, which goes to General, you want them to be able to speed down that road, which they speed. So I know you're not going to put that stuff down. But take away that concrete before some of us get hurt. My tires have hit it. Everybody else trying to get over. That is dangerous. Who has to get hurt for something to be done? I don't know who thought of this idea, but I wish we could maybe give them another education into safety, okay? And I'm not trying to be funny with that, but I just don't understand what's going on with that. I guess I still have time, so. Does anybody have any questions for me? While I'm here, I don't come that often, but you know, I like to educate. As educators, we just don't stop, okay? Okay, well, I think I'll let you go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Nelson. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak during our public comment period?
Madam Chair, I appreciate being called Councilwoman Sykes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My name is Wanda Eason. I'm at 744 Moon Street, Akron, Ohio. And since she mentioned, I don't even know who designed Martin Luther King's Expressway. I was almost in an accident because the man was coming down the street the wrong way to go to Exchange Street. So you know you cross, what, it's Exchange or Cedar? Somewhere down in there, the hospital's up the street there. Well, anyway, he was coming this way. The street goes towards Mall Avenue, I mean not Mall Avenue, but downtown. And he was coming this way. I wasn't the only one that faced him, you know. That's twice for me. Okay. So anyway, look into it. The next thing I was talking about is volunteer. 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 We have lots that doesn't get any help unless somebody calls on them. And what is it for y'all dungarees and boots and rakes and once out of the month and volunteer. I had 6 kids come to my house with rebuilding together. They came from all over and they painted my house. Guess what? They didn't get paid. They was volunteers. And that is something that kids can get something from y'all guys for the work they did, being on time. What is it called? Can y'all tell me what that's called? On the volunteer work, you get a letter from the persons that they work for and the volunteer. It helps their resume. That's what I want to say. Well, anyway, it would be nice, and we'll save money if the volunteers would just do it once a month. Don't you think that's a good idea? I mean, I don't own your property, but I keep it clean. See, I'm volunteering, okay? Now I got to purchase it, so I got to pay for it where I already paid for it.
You have about 30 seconds.
Okay, so have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Eason. Is there anyone else here to speak at the public comment period? Seeing none, we will close our public comment period and we will move into our committee assignments. Rules, Councilwoman
2:30.
Keith. Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman. Planning, Councilman Fusco.
It's 1:30. Mr. Clerk, if I could, as a point of personal privilege, Mr. Neal wanted his name added to the first 2 public hearings that we had, so I wanted to make sure that that was
on
added. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Public Service, Councilwoman Keith.
2 o'clock.
Public Utilities, Councilwoman Samples. Public Safety, Councilman Kamer. Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal. Housing, Councilman Kilby. Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian. Economic Development, Councilwoman Sims. Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky.
1 o'clock.
Very good. Is there anything else coming before council? Is there a second? Just as before we do leave, remember that we will not be in session on next Monday. We will be back on the 26th. Okay. Meeting will be adjourned.
Hit that gavel. Bam. Come on, girl. This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Marlo Somerville, President of Council, presiding. That's a wrap. Take a bit and throw it back.